Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Paladins World Championship as we continue on this journey to find who will be the final two teams standing in our epic grand final that will take place tomorrow. Welcome, everyone, to the Alienware Analyst Desk. I'm Golden Boy, joined by Bitey and, of course, Goremizer. Gentlemen, we have the dogs. They have Paladin strike hats. And listen, this is not I was not paid to say this, just an FYI. That game is fun as hell, okay? If you get a chance and you're here at HRX, I'm not front. You just go and you play that game. It's good.
Over there.
I played Grover and I gave everyone the hands. It was awesome. So I felt good. It was me and Bees. Bees was Makoa, and I was Grover, and I was just going around just spreading my woodland love all over the place. You know.
Is that what they call it now?
That's what I call it, the woodland love.
Woodland
I
love.
actually hope that our casters find a way to incorporate woodland love into our.
they're listening.
into their
You got to give them
casting.
the woodland love technique. When your teammate's in a bad position, you might want to be using the bind, pull forward, and the woodland love. A little bit of.
They should just rename the ability.
They should. I agree.
Woodland love.
I mean, you know, speaking of woodland love, we have Bitey. Bitey, how you feeling, buddy?
Oh, I'm feeling good. We got the thing going slick back.
Slick back.
And we got the dog, Admiral Borker, right here, and
I think I said Skater Borker.
Skater Borker.
Admiral Borker and Skater Borker. Okay. How much gel did that take, by the way?
Oh, it took the whole thing.
The whole tub.
When they were doing it, like it was just like globfuls thrown onto his head to slick him back at first.
And Gore, are you pumped for today?
I am pumped. I am excited for a lot of these games.
It's going to be so good. And you know what? That's a great segue, Gore. That's why they pay you the big bucks. Let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule today and see the matches that we have coming up in just a little bit. So the first game of the day is going to be the Latin American squad, Nocturnes Gaming, going up against the Aussie, oi, oi, oi of Kanga Esports. The winner of that game would face off against Virtus Pro. That will take place. So like literally they win the game. They have to keep their butts on the seats. They maybe get like a minute to use the bathroom, you know, and then after that they just got to play. No, they get a
It's
little
the
more
best
time
way to
than
do
that.
it right there is when you get up there and you're like, all right, win, and then you're like, all right, throw them up, let's go.
Win
Because-
again.
Yeah, you got to win twice, and
Yeah.
you know you're warmed up, you're ready. The other guy who just sits down, you're gonna look at him and be like, that guy, the other guys, they're gonna be you.
What?
You know, because they
I get what he's saying.
one team leaves, and then the next
Okay.
guys come in. You obviously, if you
Oh,
stay,
the
you
old
win.
guys is dead.
One of you guys is going down. I don't even know what you're saying at this point. All right, well, you know what? We're going to have to move away from that. let's just go ahead and introduce you guys Nocturnes Gaming.
Sadak. Crimson. Ekate. Pule Ule. Fuzzy Logic.
I think we've established that when you want to look cool, just tilt your head to the side just a tad, you know?
It also helped the tattoos as
It
well
does.
as Hekate's hat.
It does.
Really brings it all
does.
together.
I think they probably look like the most intimidating squad when they get this rollout going.
Unless you're Spunky.
There it
it's,
is.
And then Spunky is just, you know.
I don't know. It's like 5 versus 1, man.
That's true. That's
you just
true.
look at them all and you look like, man, I don't know. Those guys look serious.
And they're so nice. Like they are so like they're just genuinely nice people.
Yeah, all the interviews with Hekate have been awesome. Like he's just such a chill dude. So good stuff from him. But let's talk about this squad now. Nocturnes Gaming, you know, falling to Virtus Pro 3-0. They just, you know, could not seem to figure out that triple support. That really did hurt them. While they were able to get that victory against, you know, Renegades, that was kind of more of a buffer win for them. You know, confidence boost and whatnot. But Bitey, what could Kanga bust out here that can catch him off guard?
Well, I think both of these teams were a little bit flat-footed by the way the European drafts have been looking. A lot of Talus had picked apart those lineups, and I think Nocturne's case, it was more of the triple support, which was a completely different stump to what Kanga had faced. So it's going to be interesting. Both teams are very confident on their player skills, and it's all going to come down to who's pulling out what kind of drafts, what work against each other. Because these aren't the European teams. They don't have the exact same masteries ready.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit more free-flowing, and I think it's going to come down to who plays better on the field and what draft has a little bit of an edge that gives them the boost they need to move on to the next match.
Yeah.
And for Nocturnes, it's kind of a frightening thing because even if you're thinking, okay, well, we can get past Kanga, if you're confident, and then we have to go up against VP again. And VP
Yes.
swept us. The other day they were saying, they figured out what was going on. I think they know if that happens again, they can go with it. And we saw that yesterday. VP is kind of adamant about sticking to that strategy. So Kanga being able to kind of keep themselves wherever they are, as long as Nocturnes can handle that, I think they might have a smoother ride today.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Kanga, so we might as well take this opportunity, and I don't know what's going on over there, to introduce to you guys the characters that comprise of Kanga Esports.
Kanga Esports. Diggy Dog. Jones. Josh Kent. Hayes. Chronix.
Josh Kent with the smile of an angel. Just, throwing that out there.
He's got quite the
Makes
quite the
pretty
little
hair
shine.
swoon, every time. Makes pretty hair swoon. Kanga, this team, lost to NIP, but were able to defeat China Honor. So a very similar situation here. Both of these teams got that beat down, then got that buffer win, and now they're sitting in this position against one another, where they're not too sure what either team's going to try and throw. Maybe they experiment. Maybe they stick to what they know. But Kanga, they got mutilated by the Talus.
It's just another thing they have to keep an eye out for. I mean, we've been looking at it. You had been saying that NA didn't really practice the Talus. They don't have many good Talus players, and because of that, some OCE, some of the other regions are kind of lacking that practice because it's easier to get a hold of some of the NA teams. They're a little bit more free since most of them weren't coming here.
I do want to say, though, that if anybody could probably do really well, even against Talus, Kanga only lost 2 of their games by 3-4s. So
Yeah.
it's not like they got pretty much destroyed by
Maybe
it.
mutilated was a strong
Yeah,
word.
mutilated. Let me just back you up right there. Pretty strong. But
Pretty strong word.
I
apologize,
think
Mike.
Kanga, in particular, they are such an adaptable squad that they can put so many different drafts onto the field. It's just knowing the knowledge to do it. And I think that with the last games that we've seen the other day, they've probably refined their technique and their strategy and put into something that will be a little more versatile when it comes up to their next match. But I still have a little bit of a question here for what they do against Nocturnes.
Do we see a Talus at all from either of these teams, given that Talus is on the console and the PC side has been such a prevalent champion for all these teams?
I wouldn't mind seeing it. It just really comes down to the players and their comfort on it. This is another one of those matches. It's going to be harder, but they do have a little bit of leeway to work with since it's going to be a little bit of a longer set. You can afford a single loss as long as you can kind of keep your mentality as the Talus is why we lost, not we're losing and we can't come back with this. It's one of those things that if they do run it, they need to do it either early on or they need to be up a few games to be able to be comfortable.
And I believe they did take the Talus against China Honor.
Yeah.
So they did take the Talus against China Honor. That was also the Strix pick that came from Josh Kent too. They were kind of, again, I think that they use those games as like opportunities to be able to kind of experiment and learn and get more comfortable with some of these champions. But as you saw there, the draft is about to begin. But first, we're going to have to show the bands for the map. So we have Fish Market for Nocturnes and Frog Isle for Kanga, 2 very well-known and very standard maps in the Paladins rotation. So those are going to go the way of the dodo for this series.
And Frog Isle, for me here, is a big shot at just trying to stop down what Nocturnes are really good at. You give them long lines of sight, they love that. They can play that really well, although they are just as adept on a lot of these other maps being able to kind of bring that out. And Frozen Guard's another one that has a couple of areas for those long lines of sight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for what kind of draft we see pulled out on either of these. Both of these teams have extremely powerful snipers. Hecate is legendary. He's got a Widowmaker tattoo on him.
Okay.
So he does enjoy the snipes. And then on the other side, you've got Joel's, who is a master shoot.
Yeah. So All right. Well, now it seems like we're ready for the picks and bans there. And hey, maybe we see the snipers. Maybe we get some spicy long-range picks. I'm down with that.
I love seeing, I think we saw Strix and Grover on this map yesterday, so being able to kind of come through. Grover is like one of the staples when it comes to coming here. It's not usually the place you'd want to see a tree in a nice area, but he's very strong here because there's just nice long areas
He
to get that
thrives in
extra
all
damage
environments, okay?
on those axes.
And the
Just to let you
versatility
know.
of his ult. I mean, that
Oh, yeah.
ult is what really kind of sets him up. Like, you get the damage, you get the heal, but you get that ult, you're going to be feeling real good.
Yeah, the Grover ult, one of my favorites in the game. But BK, so Bomb King and Makoa are going to be out.
Really traditional bans right there. You know, they're just two very hard to work with, you know, really strong overall. You got the hook, you got the grumpy, just take them off the field. And
And especially Frozen Guard with that confined space too. The hooks can really disrupt. The Poppy Bomb can just blow everyone up and stun everyone, I should say. But Buck is going to come out first for Kanga. Not a surprise there. Buck has been very strong throughout this weekend and pretty much in general.
It's just really, it's one of those things, because you only get one ban, you have to let something that's going to be strong through. We've been seeing Ruckus, we've been seeing Buck that have had phenomenal performances. Genos has been at the top of that list as well, and just, you have to decide what is, like, give them the lesser of two evils. What's going to be the one that we can handle the best? In this case, it's going to be the Buck, but Kanga are looking for a Talus as well.
so I'm curious here, because seeing what Nocturne's pulled out there, the Genos is kind of like a way to slow Talus down. Once you use your Void Grip, which is the lift and hold position, most of the time you can force him to teleport out. You know, he doesn't want to be stuck there. He doesn't have that much health. And most of the time, I think maybe Genos is a way to deal with them.
Oh, look how hard you're trying.
Interesting
How
pick here.
embarrassing.
Pip, very, very cocky, obviously.
Yeah.
You got to tone that down, buddy. You're going to get knocked down a couple pigs. You look like a mouse.
Welcome here.
My question is this just going to be kind of a standard Pip, or is this going to be like Simsulu level, or the way that we saw Evil Eye play it yesterday, like just taking it to the next level, using that Luminary on the Genos maybe to even buff his shots?
I'm thinking that it could be either. It could be Mega Potion. They do have the Inara who can really benefit from that investment. And he can also run DPS, so it's just going to be what they're comfortable with and what kind of healing they're looking to supplement here.
Ooh, but Grover, so the support's coming out at the end there. You're going to have Maldamba as a final pick, and then Grover gets picked up. And Grover, pretty good on this map to get those long sidelines.
I'm calling it. I want a sniper right here.
Yeah, I would love to see maybe like
Sniper.
a Strix picked up.
Sniper!
Oh, look at you. It's almost as if you're a pro player.
James Tiberius Strix always comes out with.
I thought that was Strix for a moment. That was so good. You're so talented, Bitey. Oh, goodness.
I
All
happen
right.
to do a little bit of role play with him. He is one of my personal favorites.
Okay, so looking at this draft, who do you have?
With the strength that Nocturnes have on a lot of the champions they picked up, I kind of want to lean towards them.
Okay, Nocturnes.
Yeah.
All right. Bitey?
Boy, it's a
it's
toss-up.
tough.
It's a toss-up. I think Grover with the ult, one thing that kind of distinguishes one draft,
I agree.
you just can't check out the big man with the raising his hands, make you guys feel good. Spring balloon, baby.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an amazing match. And what a way to kick off the day here at the Paladins World Championship. Let's go ahead and get into the action and send it over to your casters to get this bad boy rolling.
Thanks, Golden Boy. It is going to be a fantastic set.
slobber knocker.
I can't use that again. I already used that once. Golden Boy's used that. I can't keep on taking those away from him, but I am here. I am ready for this matchup to start. This is one of the ones, I mean, really looking forward to. And interesting draft to start things off. How are you feeling about that last pick, Strix, here?
It's absolutely all, performance-based. I think these drafts are kind of dead even in terms of what they're going to be bringing, what both of them can do. Nocturnes are a little bit more execution-based, but we know Makate is one to execute.
It'll be interesting to see exactly how that pick plays off as well. I'm wondering if there's a degree of maybe some pocket healing for the Strix coming through here. Maybe a little bit of peel as well with the Catalyst if they go for damage and the Explosive Flask or Evil Mojo. What are the options for Nocturnes to protect their... Is it more of a one protect all strategy here?
I don't think they'll go for the Mega Potion style. I think with Genos and Pip, that's going to provide them the coverage they need, as well as the fact of the Catalyst giving bonus damage to Pip, anyone slowed by his own ability, that Explosive Flask. Very easy to hit, very easy to leverage. You throw that on top of the Luminary damage amp from Genos, which is also incredibly easy to leverage. Pip is swinging for over 900 damage. That's a support, ladies and gentlemen. And another thing...
No, Pip is flank.
Is that Pip flank. I flank, no heal. Very good. Pip can heals so much better than all the other off supports like the Grover, like the Grok, just because of the fact that he can throw his from a distance. That is one thing that the other off supports simply do not bring to the table.
Yeah, when you're playing a Grove, the issue that we saw, especially actually last year at the Invitational, was exactly what are we going to do with the Grover? How are we going to move them into a position where they're able to heal?
You have to move the Grover there.
Yeah, you have to take the Grover to the fight, not take the fight to, well, you do, I suppose you do take the fight to the Grover.
Either could work.
You can do a lot of trickery with Vine, especially if you're running cooldown reduction in your
exactly
loadout.
right.
But again, it puts Grover in a vulnerable position, and you don't have as much efficacy from your damage scaling either.
Grover can easily transition to one of his allies. His mobility skill, Vine, you've probably seen it a couple times in this tournament, will just throw out. It's not quite hit scan, a very vast projectile, if you will. But that is a skill shot that is not easy to hit. You have to make contact with your teammate to pull yourself there. You can also use this to hit enemies. And it does, in fact, I think, have like a super legacy slow. It's negligible, but it does slow your enemy down. If you hit them with it, you can use this to make contact with anything on the map, and it will pull you to that point. It can actually be very useful. And we've actually seen a boy named Bittner from Virtus Pro make some pretty sweet plays with that mobility option for Grover.
We have as well. Really what I'm interested in here right now, though, is looking specifically towards Nocturnes and Kanga. I'm wondering how the double flank of Kanga is going to be able to perform on this longer base map. If Grover's going to be able to provide enough damage lock off to open up an opportunity for them to engage, or if they'll get poked out from a distance here.
Yeah, if you're looking at Nocturne's lineup, you might say that they lack a little bit of damage, but they really don't when you think about it. The way Genos is being played, the way Ruckus is being played that we've seen, I think Luminary every single game for Genos, which is his very easy leveraged damage option that gives not only one teammate but himself at the same time a damage amp of 15%. They've got the Pip with the Catalyst, likely legendary. That is, you know, it kind of stacks up to be a lot.
It certainly does. And again, looking back to yesterday, specifically towards the console finals as well, you saw how devastating Ruckus can be in the hands of somebody that's able to position well for Hexafires and execute them
I don't know if
ideally.
we'll see. Those Hexafires, that's a high bar to set coming out of the gate. These guys just woke up.
Oh yeah, they did. It is early in the morning. Okay, it's early for me in the morning here. And you know I'm a bit of a night owl. Speaking of the owls again, coming back to Nocturne, that Strix pickup. We saw a little bit of crack shot come out of, I think it was actually China Dream yesterday. How are you feeling about legendaries for Strix at the moment? What's
Yesterday,
viable?
I think a lot of what Strix has is viable. We've actually seen all three in this tournament. It's a style pick. It's a map-specific pick. Hecate yesterday, when he picked this up on Frozen Guard, he went for the Nocturnal. I think he's going to have to do, he might do this. The reason he did it yesterday for sure is because he was against not only Grover, but he was against Shaolin as well. That is two long-range champions that have the potential to burst him down in a very, very short amount of time. That's why he went for Nocturnal. That provides 50% additional, we'll call it stealth juice or stealth resource, so he can stay hidden for a longer period of time. He can play more passive and slow, and that's probably the way he's going to need to play slightly today, because he's going to have not only two flanks hunting him, but Grover as well.
We'll see if that will be the case. This is map number 1. Set number 1 of the day, the elimination match between Kanga Esports and Nocturnes Gaming. Nick, let's take a look through our legendaries and see who'll gain the early advantage.
And we go. Falchion Bargain, Ferocity, Bulk Up, Aegis, Aerial Assault, Celestial Touch for Crimson. Very notable swap from what we have seen every other game from Genos. So no damage amp on that side. It will be 10% of the target's max HP healed as burst when he is applying his Astral Mark.
Buck already goes down to fully early. Josh Kent does get stuck out of position. Hades can't save them there as well. Nara does get the frag. Hades is looking for an opportunity to just keep on contesting so far. So I like that Kang Esports are playing a bit around the objective, but they've got to start retreating and wait for the rest of their team as they're getting poked out very significantly.
Hades finds Sadok, dropping Genos very low as well. It's Fuzzy Logic next on the plate. He's just trying to get away. He'll get his weightless off to start making his move, but I don't know if he's going to be able to retreat. He runs right into Josh Kent.
Got to be careful there as well. Hades looking for the collateral fireballs. Josh Kent and Diggy Dog do come back on through, and nice and fast from Minara just buys a little bit of time, a little bit of space here. Diggy Dog gets left and forced to transport back, but Hades is making a lot of space with Fernando here, just with their shield.
Uses charge as well. That'll be up and off cooldown now. 51% for Nocturnes. Kanga hitting that mark and surpassing now at 63. Route of travel ready to go down. Josh Kent playing the other side. Kanga have great map coverage.
Kanga are trying to zone out. They're trying to make sure that nobody can get in. Kanga is supposed to activate a whirlwind onto the objective. Comes in Nara. Through time and space does not connect. Sadak finds Josh Kent in response. Agate picks up Digidog as well. Will that be enough?
Sadak is there. Josh Kent might get pushed by Genos. He's going to go into stealth. Overtime started. He's ripped out of stealth by Grover's axe. How that plays out is there is a damage amount that if Strix takes while in stealth, he will be ripped back out of it onto the battlefield, visible by all. And Joel's just has to get essentially lucky to catch him with a long-range axe. It's going to, of course, have plenty of damage, enough to take him out of stealth for sure.
And you see Joel's as well will know some of the angles on this map specifically, will be able to lock off where Agate might be coming from and just predict their opposition. Aids, of course, running with the Aegis, is trying to lock off the angle here, though. Sadak in the backline does activate Hexfire, gets shut down by Chronix. Uli trades out for one as well, and a slight advantage to Nocturne's Gaming. Agate slays Hades, and that will stop Kanga's push for the time being.
They are in a bad spot there. Josh Kent, he's going to heroic into the air, but he's going to get grabbed instantaneously by Genos. Digidog nowhere to go. He falls as well, and that's what's going to happen in these team fights. If there is ever a moment, there hasn't been until that point, that Agate just gets to free fire from the back line with this Talon rifle, then there's going to be an easy fight for Nocturnes. But Kanga, like I said, haven't let that happen.
So let's talk about Nocturnes again here on defense. They're looking up to maybe get some dismounts coming in. How do they position around the map, specifically here, which is quite advanced to allow Agate the freedom to free fire?
This is one of the easier chokes, but they pushed out extremely far. As a result, they lose Puleule very early on. One of their frontliners now down. This is an easy break for Kanga. The next opportunity to hold for Nocturnes is going to come right at their base, and you can see them already trying to head up there, but maybe miscalculated slightly. Weightless used by Fuzzy Logic was not enough to position the Pip up to the safety of the base.
Nice Void Grip shuts down Josh Kent, so that focusing them down. Crimson will turn their attention towards Hades here, trying to keep the rest of the team alive, and I do like Nocturne's positioning, just keeping the high ground and trying to go for some poke towards Grover here.
Josh Kent didn't get picked off there. That might have been Kanga's conversion, honestly. They're going to have to wait for him to come back at this moment. But respawn proximity advantage, meaning the defender's advantage, essentially, is going to be so much in favor of Nocturnes at this stage of the push. They're going to be reinforced much quicker than Kanga.
Whirlwind comes down through time and space. Crimson sends it home. Digidog back to base. That'll take some of the wind out of the sails of Kanga Esports. Will Josh Kent be able to take to the high ground to take over? I'm not sure if that will be enough. Shut down for a double kill by Crimson. Nocturnes Gaming hold.
Incredibly aggressive jump there by Josh, but that fight was kind of already over because that type of play coming out, that losing Digidog that early on to a random time and space just isn't going to pan out for them. The zone extremely strong on Frozen Guard. Nocturnes will hold strong 1-1.
So, as we get through, as you said, 1-1, all tied up. Net worth should be relatively similar. We're just looking through the legendaries again here, highlighting any specific ones which do come up. I like the choice for Aegis here with Hades as well. We talked about that yesterday specifically, and it is Nocturnal as well for Agate, which you mentioned and talked about earlier.
Reasons that the Aegis is going to be important, though, for Fernando. Lot of long lines of sights on this map. That reduces the cooldown of Fernando's shield to 8 seconds down from 15 at base, as well as the fact that Fernando's shield comes with a duration unless you have this legendary equipped. With Hades having this legendary, he can put that shield up for as long as he wants. It either has to be destroyed or canceled by the player.
Now the players are aligning out of base. Nocturnes Gaming got rushed straight towards the objective. They do have the Inara for the early point hold. Got to be careful of the flank coming out of Josh Kent and the ranged positioning from Grover here as well. Fuzzy Logic has a little bit of pocket. Watch out, Agate. Here comes the Dread Serpent, and here comes Buckwell trying to kick things off. Was that an evil mojo? It was as well. Nocturnes Gaming don't find anything from it though, so that gets shut down following the Hexafire, and all of a sudden Kanga Esports are in control.
That was actually a very critical moment. You may have missed it if you blinked. You saw True Power attempt to come out from Digidog. What this is Talos' ultimate. He's going to get a view of the battlefield. Every single enemy player that is within range, as long as they aren't stealth, and that's the key. We'll get to that in a moment. He will have the opportunity to lock in and launch a cross map through all obstacles and walls punch that will lock down that player for the moment. Now, what Agate did so well is the second he heard that wind up, he went into stealth to make sure he was not one of the targets that could be picked off. And you could see, and you knew that that was what Digidog wanted, because the second that you saw Hecate disappear, Diggy Dog just turned away. He canceled his ultimate, but with Talus, you get to retain 70% of that charge.
You know, and some of the value there of Nocturnal as well is that even if you're low on your stealth juice potentially, as you said earlier, just because you're draining that resource so much comparatively slower, you can often outlast the duration of Talus's true powered charge, because you can hold that for about a second or so, just channeling it, and maybe flick to a Strix at the last second if they're only able to stealth for a short amount of time. If you're not running, I think the card Guerrilla Tactic as well, as if you're or Warfare, if you're not getting eliminations granting you back stealth as well, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble if you're trying to play an ambush Strix and you're using that ability offensively.
Yeah, it's a much more snowball style of Strix. Not only do you have less resource, but you have to use it to leverage damage more effectively. Akate probably running that. That's a pretty popular loadout card for Strix. Kanga just waiting to get back in game. Game paused here, talking things up a little bit, making sure everything's all good in the hood. That was a stark defense from Nocturnes Gaming, but one that was looking a little shaky at first. I stand by the statement that I think if Josh Kent doesn't die there, he got void gripped up near the base. If he doesn't get kind of blasted down by 3 members there, they already had a pick. They already were waiting on Pule Uli to come out of spawn. That was a gift that Josh Kent gave to them, and if they didn't receive it, I think that may have been conversion.
Yeah, there were some critical picks, I think, which is really what we need to hop on about there.
And then Diggy, he got picked
hard.
hard.
Absolutely, and going back to it as well, a good defense, but it's objective control that's concerning me right now, because so far Kanga Esports have been resoundingly in control of the neutral capture point, and even if Nocturnes defend 3 times in a row, if they can't get the capture, they will end up falling.
Big trade there, 1-for-1 Akate for a Diggy Dog, a flanker for a backline. It looks like another Hexafire comes out on the point. Seismic Crash primed and ready as well. 66% on the point for Kanga Esports. Nocturne starting to win this fight.
Taking over now, Sadat comes through. Crimson finds a double kill. There's the damage Janus we were talking about earlier, even with Celestial Touch, and Nocturnes do have the opportunity to zone. It's 66% to Kanga, but Nocturnes are rising, and look at the dismounts coming through as well. Beautiful positioning from Sadat.
So that's probably going to be it. When I say the zone is strong on Frozen Guard, assuming you do it, those dismounts right there, it's a long walk back from spawn for any team that is wiped on Frozen Guard, meaning that if a clean fight is taken like the one we just saw from Nocturnes, it is very easy to capture 60, 70, 80, sometimes the entire neutral point just off one win.
Good capture for Nocturnes then. They're starting to make some headway on the payload. This part is the easy section of the push. No big long sightlines for Grover to take over with right now, and a lot of space being used or being made because Kanga Esports are trying to stick more towards their natural cover here. Void Grip forces Diggy Dog, as Bitey said earlier, back to their Rune of Travel, buying again some more space for Nocturnes, but how are they going to look to push through here?
Josh Kent working on this backline. Evil Mojo comes out, but it feels like more of a defensive one. Not much follow-up there. Diggy Dog will fall in the corner. Fuzzy Logic pushing forward. Josh Kent in some trouble as well. This could be 3 down for Kanga, and it is.
Oh, Fuzzy Logic down. The shots as Josh Kent was landing, so that cleans up Chronix. Kanga Esports only have their Grover left right now, and they're retreating back towards base to wait for respawns. 1 minute. 26 seconds left on this clock. Nocturnes are starting to get this payload pushing towards base. The Kate moves into position to try and snipe out Grover if Joel's pokes just that branch into range.
So Akate's in one of these bushes on Frozen Guard, one of the few maps that have them. He is invisible to the enemy team while standing passively. If he shoots or is shot, he will be revealed.
Big Hexafire on the high ground. Tadak tries to start things off. Gets shut down by Hades, but Crimson trades out with Josh Kent. This payload might be going through. Through time and space is ready. Will Crimson use it? In goes Talus, but Talus is forced out immediately. And oh no, this could be very bad for Kanga, but they do manage to hold for the time being, and Pule Uli is being forced back.
He needs that Earthen Guard. He's going to die with it up, actually. His wall was up as well. Pule Uli. I mean, not much to be salvaged in that fight. They had already lost the majority of their team, so not a whole lot gained, not a whole lot lost. 33 on the clock. Might be enough time. The zone, of course, it's great on Frozen Guard. Is it 30 seconds great, though? Not really when Kanga are going to fall back this far. Their zone is not incredibly aggressive.
I think that Kanga recognized that if they get caught out with the payload so close to conversion at this point, it could easily be pushed through just due to a numbers advantage. They want to play this one safe. They want to use their base and the high ground to their advantage. Nocturnes Gaming start to engage. Sadak tries to move in. Big start off as Hades gets crushed down. Out comes Immortal. That'll keep them alive for a while. Sadak tries to go to the high ground. Can't make it there. Josh Kent tries to find Crimson, but gets shut down.
That is huge. Josh Kent with so many low targets. He wasn't able to capitalize again. Crimson escapes, but just for a moment. Shield popped. by Sadak, and it's not going to be enough trying to get this one through unless we see an amazing Inara wall. This is looking grim for Nocturnes.
Oh my goodness as well. Akate just deleted Joel's. Out comes the seismic crash, but it's Josh Kent from behind. The double kill for the unyielding Buck makes the defense in Kanga. This time they hold.
This is narrow. This is even. This is not, I think, what we expected. There's the big pick, as well as the collateral damage spilling onto Hades as well from Crimson in the back line. That was a massive play for them that pulled the emergency break on the first Nocturnes, or Kanga offense, excuse me.
Now we're all tied up with Sat currently 2-2. Even game, even capture point. Nocturnes, I eat my words, they had capture control last round, but they've got to do it again, and they've got to be very, very careful of that big flank coming around, which has happened twice in a row from Josh Kent.
As well as those flanks from Josh Kent, they're not working out a lot right now. That was the first one that we saw paid off. He's dying a lot without capitalizing on some kills. The second Josh Kent starts to find some traction, you see he's 4-9 right now, so a lot of his trips to the backline aren't paying off. He picked up 2 right there at the end, so he was sitting 2-9 up until that point. If he starts, this is a close game with Josh Kent not pulling a lot of weight.
Crimson though, 1 death so far, taking really careful positioning here, trying to stay out of the line of sight. Finds Jules, takes Nax to the face. In comes True Power. Who's it going to connect onto? Straight in the back, Strix activates Flashbang, but it's just not enough, and Diggy Dog gets the kill.
I don't know with the Get Wrecked spray. Diggy Dog looking for his next target. He's got Rune of Travel up, reposition there into the overdrive. Doesn't like what he sees, and he'll eject.
Back to safety for the time being. Kanga Esports take over on the objective. Fuzzy Logic can't really, as a Pip, break through that Aegis shield very well. Is trying to land some damage on Hades, but Hades wisely retreats as Nocturnes Gaming do return. Has Fuzzy Logic been caught though? Josh Kent slams the hammer home. Get wrecked, says Josh. And now all of Nocturnes are being forced back.
What Josh Kent is doing really well right now is positioning properly so people are retreating into him. He's not getting super aggressive. He's just not paying off that way. I like the change in style from Josh that we're seeing to try and accommodate for something new.
I like the coordination as well from Kanga Esports, just to make sure that Josh gets burst back to full health. Here comes Buck Wild though, turning the table all around, straight onto Sadak, who tries to escape. 1 health left, does end up going down to Chronix. Fuzzy Logic cleans up Hades, and Nocturnes Gaming have the numbers advantage. Can Josh find a big pick, maybe on a Crimson in the back line? I don't think so at this rate, they're all too healthy.
No kills for Josh Kent, but a lot of shots landed. That was a high value Buck Wild that just didn't see the follow-up that it truly needed. 99%. Josh Kent, he's going to get in touch, but it will cost him his life.
Gate with the snipes finds 1. Overtime has been reset. Down comes Seismic Crash. Dread Serpent as well. Hexafire from Sadak, and Akate slays Chronix in an instant. That is just way too much damage to deal with. Nocturnes Gaming come out on top. Second capture in a row, 3-2, and they're showing up and exceeding expectations.
Nocturnes have come to play. Their composition, though, their resources they had available lended very well to the situation that they fought hard to be in. Kanga Esports forced to sacrifice Josh Kent just to start overtime, and then from there on out, it's a trickling straight into a Hexafire. Very easy cleanup kills for Nocturnes and Sadak.
And a trickle is just something which you can't really afford to get yourself into on a map like Frozen Guard. Your respawns are so far away. If one player from the defending team manages to get a dismount going on to somebody on the respawn, it'll take so long to get back to the objective, it's just not worth it. 1 minute and 48 seconds left on the clock. Nocturnes Gaming have lost a member in trade with Kanga. Even battlefield so far.
This is such an even game. Even the way the fights are going, it's always 1-for-1s. Never really anyone getting blown out of the water outside of the opening fight in the first rounds. Akate finding some ground traction, and he'll push forward on Strix, looking for more. Opening shot on Grover is good.
Wow, the quick scope's coming through. Doesn't find Jules, but Fuzzy Logic does instead. Out goes the flare. Sadak cleans up Josh Kent. Snipe onto Dallas. And the Skadron back to base. Now Nocturnes can push Nick.
Kalshimar tatted on his left arm, meaning nightmare in French, and soon to mean nightmare in Australian too. If Kanga Esports can't figure out how to stop Akate. Diggy Dog's been trying to put some pressure on him. Fuzzy Logic drops early, trying to get his Evil Mojo off.
Yeah, that seemed to be a really bad time to use the Evil Mojo as well. Even if Nocturnes had got it going, would it have been enough for a kill there?
I don't even think so. I think that he was so low HP when he started to cast it. I don't think he realized how much of Kanga was actually up above him as well. He just had Hades on his screen, but he had Chronix bearing down atop, and that's extremely... Maldamba actually doing fairly good damage, and that is where Maldamba would prefer to fight from, is above, when he can just rain down bullets. He's a very slow projectile that it's got a very, very awkward trajectory through the air, so it's much easier for him to shoot down than up.
Too many Australians then. Here's the Evil Mojo though, but Digidog cancels it out as Fuzzy Logic gets slain, and Nocturnes are trying to find a way through, but they're just not getting the picks they need to, even off of some of these ultimates.
For the big shot there, Akate's gonna miss it as stealth. Put 1 into Hades, 2 into Hades. He's taking 2,400 damage. Both flankers working on this frontliner from Nocturnes. Can Puleoli turn it around? He'll take a 1-for-1.
That's a trade so far. Returning to the objective, contested in overtime. Sadaki's on the front line, but Josh Kent with a big meaty box shotgun does send them packing. 3-3, all tied up. 15 minutes into this game number 1. These two teams seem to be very evenly matched.
Traditionally, this hasn't been a great map for Kanga, and that's just that's frankly taking a little bit away from Ninjas in Pajamas because they were just so damn good here. I believe they won 4-0 against Kanga. Double kills for Fuzzy Logic. Nocturnes are holding their own with what is regarded to be one of the best, if not the best, international team at this tournament.
So talk to me about items now as we have the opportunity. 10 seconds to go. What's on the board, Nick?
Seeing a lot of resilience here coming out of the Kanga squad. Obviously the Evil Mojo, the Seismic Crash, the Void Grip, all hard crowd controls that will have their durations reduced by 90 and 60%. Josh Kent with Resilience 2. You're seeing those 3 tick marks under Hades and Joel's, that broken chain, meaning they have Resilience 3, a la 90% crowd control reduction. And early aggression on a Fuzzy Logic finds home.
Oh no, that's the flank that we said they've got to be careful of. Kanga Esports are trying to engage. They're on the point. They're gaining some capture. They've got the Dread Serpent as well. Chronix looking for an opportunity for the kill, but no. Big through time and space finds Charles. Akane answers back. Sadak returns the objective. Josh Kent is in the back line, but has been spotted, will be forced out, forced into recovery. Trying to box through with Ruckus, but just cannot get through that emitter shield. This is Nocturnes Gaming in control. They have the range, they have the dismounts. Can they zone well enough for the capture for free?
But what they don't have is resources. Kanga have 4 ultimates available. Nocturnes with just 1, and it's the flashbang from Strix. Hard to get value from, and even if you do, it's not guaranteed to win you the team fight by any stretch of their imagination, but they are already 81%. Kanga have to make big moves.
Oh, here's true power. It does connect onto Strix, but a beautiful healing potion from Pip keeps him alive, and Digidog is at half health. Back to full now. Sadak in a lot of trouble. Hades back on the objective. I like Nocturne's choice to disengage here, but will it be enough?
Beautiful play for the objective. Somebody has to find something on Kanga. It'll go 1. The frontliner has fallen for Nocturnes.
Fuzzy Logic takes over. Hekate misses a snipe, but Sadak cleans up Hades as well. Sadak looks for Digidog around the outside. Out comes Whirlwind. The snipes rain through, but Sadak just rips and tears through all of Kanga Esports. 93 to 93 on the objective, but Nocturnes are in control. This game is only going one way, and it is the way of Latin America as long as the Hexafire is true here.
Good stuff from Nocturnes. They're going to be able to hold it down to Hades. It's a long shot, buddy. He falls soon after his shield does. The overtime expires, and Latin America will take game 1 over Australia.
Color me surprised and purple.
Me as well.
That was a beautiful Strix play, but Sadak really stole the show there at the end on
Here's
Ruckus.
my prediction, Vox. The team wearing orange and black jerseys will win this set.
I think that you may be slightly biased there, Nick, but I can't tell which direction you're shooting.
I make my own luck.
And you can see the elation on Nocturne's faces right now. You know,
They're amped about
they
it.
really pulled it off. They are excited, and they've just taken a victory off a team which has bested them before at LAN as well.
Nocturnes, not the first time they've taken a game off of Kanga, so look for Kanga to be able to bounce back. Australia typically making it a little bit further than where they currently sit in the tournament, and I think they'd be disappointed with any less.
Is that a jar of Vegemite?
It is. Josh Kent has sported the jar of Vegemite front of his setup in every game so far.
If things get really dire, he'll open it, and maybe the smell will dissuade Nocturne's gaming slightly.
That's the emergency plan. Akate, Joel's.
That's the true Evil Mojo.
Joel's looking a little flushed, but still smiling.
It's only game 1.
Babyface killer.
Best of 5 sets, so there are plenty more opportunities for both of these teams to duke it out and kind of bring this one really to a close. But Nocturne's feeling confident again after that. Just the 1v1 plays that Sadak was making on Ruckus were fantastic. They're really coming to the rescue for Strix, and knowing when to engage as well.
And he found himself in so many favorable situations, looking like wonderful with some of these Hexafires, because when Kanga were forced to push into them, Sadak was ready. The Hexafire, all 6 guns, 4 miniguns, 4 sets of rockets were ready to rip through Kanga as they attempted, futilely to push in.
Especially
against
on
the Latin
that,
American Fury.
just especially on that last objective as well. And we can see here it's 3-3, so close, and Sadak is in the right place at the right time. Talus overextends, and look at the whirlwind, look at the cauterize. Make sure they have the right target focus, and that's enough to get an easy shutdown. What can Joels do with no health left over?
And it was such a smart target swap, as well as we're seeing the 3rd kill, looking for, what is this? He had a hand in basically every frag down the stretch there. Sadak, he put pressure onto Digidog, as well as swapping targets quickly onto Joels, applying Cauterize, forcing Grover to low HP, almost forced him out of the fight, then swapped back to Digidog before Cauterize had fallen off and all that healing poured back through, took down the priority target, and then, of course, was able to target swap back to Grover once again and claim his life as well.
Little things, but really intelligent plays and great positioning to boot as well. Moving into there, I think that Kanga Esports might need to start respecting the Ruckus pick a little bit more if they want to move forward in this tournament, Nick. How are you feeling about that one?
So one thing I will say about the draft, they were both fine, but that was fairly vanilla, I think, for what we've seen in this tournament so far. And Nocturnes lost handily to Virtus Pro, a team that lost 3-0 to Ninjas in Pajamas. Frankly, Kanga gave Ninjas in Pajamas a better run for their money than Virtus Pro did. Virtus Pro dismantling absolutely Nocturnes Gaming with all the wacky stuff that they always bring to the table. If Kanga go to something like that, I think it could give Nocturnes a lot more trouble. It's a big question about how have Nocturnes prepared since their loss against Virtus Pro for some of the more wonky triple support, double front line type of situations that Europe is bringing.
Well, it's not just the champion draft they have to be prepared for, it is the map draft as well. Just being told that map number 2 will be a change from the norm. We're going through to one of Kanga's favorite maps, and that is Timber Mill, and this could be enough to maybe throw Nocturnes off their footing.
This could be enough to actually have some counter sniper play. Akate might not be the only one behind the scope of a rifle. We may see both snipers, Knessa and Strix, on this map. I would not be at all surprised to see it come out, and I would absolutely love to and be overjoyed if it came to fruition.
Big old boxing match between Master and Apprentice. And who comes out on top? Is it the young gun, the bounty hunter, or is it Strix, Ghost Feather? Which one are you favoring just on paper on this map?
If we see a pure 1v1 between the two, I will be incredibly surprised. Paladins is a super team-oriented game, and I don't think we'll see any 1v1s in a vacuum.
Oh, of course.
If we do, Strix will normally take that, or should normally take that, over Knessa. Josh Kent, though, he just doesn't have the reputation on the sniper that Akate does. Fuzzy Logic, the newest member of what otherwise is a very storied Latin American roster that has represented the region, bearing these colors and this battle standard at every international land Paladins has ever thrown.
So far as well, moving through. Going back to that Strix and Knessa matchup, objectively, I really like Knessa a lot more on Timbermill than Strix. Sure, you have the charge time, but the value of Transporter to be able to get up and down levels supersedes Strix's stealth ability, in my personal opinion, I think, there. And
that's huge, no.
What happens if somebody like an EV chases you down on the high ground? Knessa at least can relocate. Strix often caught out. I would be surprised, honestly, to maybe even see both of these come out. I'm more expecting Grover and maybe even Charlene as control-orientated for this map.
Well, that's the question of Knessa versus Strix, or Knessa in a composition of other champions versus Strix in a composition of other champions. You have to take those things into account. It's not in a vacuum. It rarely, if ever, is at this level of play. All things must always be considered. Kanga Esports, Nocturnes Gaming. Nocturnes up 1-0. Going into Timbermill, the draft is set and ready. Nocturnes with the first pick.
First ban comes through. Now, Nocturnes was struggling with a few different things last round, but Charlene, out of the blue, obviously preparing for what Kanga might be throwing at them, look to have done their homework here.
This is something that Bonker absolutely slaughtered Kanga with on Timbermill in their set yesterday.
Gotta respect the Desert Wind.
And there it is. Strix will leave. So one sniper remains on the board. The Apprentice, Knessa, trained by Strix in the lore. Nocturnes would be forced or at least tempted to pick it up early if they want it. If they do pick it up early, however, they leave themselves incredibly exposed to be countered in the rest of the
You're going to be dealing with an Eevee, you're going to be dealing with a Maeve, you're going to have everybody on your tail. And that leaves the pick of Makoa open, of course, which Nocturnes Gaming will immediately go for, because the value that they bring on this map, most frontliners have a difficult time sort of putting pressure on some of the backline champions, but if Makoa goes to the middle ground here and sort of camps on the edge of that Dredge Anchor, they can actually pull maybe a sniper into danger.
This is one map that we talk about being very draft-centric, and you're already seeing that reflected through. Makoa has made it through in the draft maybe less than 5, less than 10 times
half of which were Navi's games as well.
Absolutely. And challenge Strix bans. I don't think either of those champions have actually been banned at any point during this tournament. Kenga going to go with the early Genos. Look for that Talus combination later. That was something that gave them a lot of trouble in their set on this map versus Ninjas in Pajamas.
I'm really not surprised to see the Rocket Spec come through there. After Sadak's performance on the previous round, preventing Nocturnes from getting Makoa and Ruckus, I think, is a wise decision here. And Aerial Assault does provide that vertical lift, which will be necessary to get to some of the high ground, and maybe put some pressure on some backline champions. Nocturnes to respond, though. Maldamba drafted early. They're keeping their later picks open for damage here.
And they don't want to have the chance at actually Maldamba being perhaps stolen away.
The double
by
combo.
Kenga. That is something that has been very viable, if not sought out in this tournament. It's not something Nocturnes are prepared to deal with. They'll steal away the buck as well, further dissuading sniper play from that man right there. He played the Strix in his set against Ninjas in Pajamas here, albeit it wasn't the cleanest gameplay. Shots were missing from time to time from him. He's got the ability to play all kinds of stuff. At one point playing support for this roster, also playing frontline, also now playing flank primarily. Talus will be hovered, a great combination.
That's a really big dissuasion to go into a sniper here as well for Nocturnes. They haven't got a Strix that can stealth out of True Power, and you've got that 1-2 punch of True Power and through time and space as well, so that's an insta-kill here. Torvald as well, a little bit more, should we say, range dependent on this map. Can be focused down quite easily from above, but is able to apply protection across the map, and that has value.
Buys Talus just a couple of extra seconds in the backline. Talus could be extremely terrifying to deal with for Nocturnes this game. They've got the Dredge Anchor as the hard on-demand peel. They've got no Void Grip to stop Digidog. He's going to be ripping into the back line with an Astral Mark applied, a protection bubble at the ready if he runs into trouble. I said they couldn't pick it, but Nocturnes are not afraid of any draft Kenga is going to bring to the table. They lock it in. Knessa.
The Bounty Hunter graces the battlefield again, and I cannot wait for this. A personal favorite of mine, and in Akate-zan, there is no better showing. Kenga to respond, and they're lacking traditionally damage in this situation, and no better pick to try and counter-snipe the Bounty Hunter here than Grover.
They've got a lot of big potential to deal with this, like we mentioned earlier in the tournament. The Talus, Genos, ultimate combination. Two ultimates that by themselves are hard to get value for, but together providing one of the newest, shiniest, and deadliest combinations that we've ever seen, and frankly one that is just not that hard to do.
It's a delete button is really what it comes down to. It's who's the high value target on the enemy team. Can we take them out? Is there a Torvald around that can shield them? Nope. Okay, they're dead.
It's got to be frustrating to deal with, too. Imagine being Cuss Cutie and just absolutely obliterated at the start of every round. That's just so, God, again. And there's nothing you can really do to counterplay it outside of, like, the protection bubble, and that isn't even guaranteed to save you. It's a lot. It's 2,000 extra health, but that's a big damage combination. True Power to 600 base through time and space connects for 2,400, so you're sitting at 3,000 base. That is 3,000 on arrival for Talus, and then he is guaranteed to put out at least another grand.
There has never been a better time to invest in Master Riding, and I would not be surprised to see Akate's Knessa go immediately into that, maybe following a Cauterize or something like that, just a little bit of anti-heal or anti-shield potential here, but if Akate gets pressured out frequently, Master Riding will be necessary to not only give them the advantage on the opening picks, but also to just get back to the fight in enough time to impact. The chants around the crowd as well. Aussie, 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 oi, 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 say some of the fans who are ready and waiting for them. Steady Aim, the legendary of choice for Hecate here. Otherwise, all standard across the board as well for the rest of Kanga, Nick. 2 Master Ridings for Kanga, but nothing for Nocturnes Gaming in a similar vein.
Let's ride along with Hecate here, see how he's going to play this opening peak. Straight to the objective, and Nara will go.
Just dancing around for the time being, waiting for an opportunity to strike, and you do have Fuzzy Logic spot coming in as well. Dreadjanker has been missed by Puleuli. Mid-rotation spray comes through, Crimson finds Hades. That's not a good start for Kanga.
Not fighting in those open lines of sights of Timber Mill. Nocturnes will still draw first blood without, frankly, much help from Hecate. Their sniper Digidog answers back. Puleuli falls, and now raining in the bullets from above. Joels looks to make quick work of Inara.
You got to be very, very careful of them coming through. Hecate, though, is looking for damage now. Steady Aim, channeled up, 1560 per shot. Double kill to the Bounty Hunter. Transporter in place. The Restore heal comes through. Triple kill for Hecate. Crimson cleans up Digidog. Quadra kill, 4 in a row. Oh my goodness. Somebody stop them.
The Latin American nightmare against all odds, against the Talus Genos combination, against the Grover. He's not scared. He plays against all types of drafts in his region. They all attempt to stop him, but very practiced is Hecate with Kinessa at dealing with just about any champion in the cast.
And it comes down to that Steady Aim playstyle as well. You know, 1600 damage in one shot, or 1560, excuse me, is not something which anybody can really deal with that well. Fuzzy Logic now putting pressure on towards Talus. One more shot will do it. Tries to get away, but no, the shotgun sends them flying.
In a bad spot now. Fuzzy might be in a position to get pushed, but it's just Genos. It's not enough. Headhunter being popped. Hecate starting to rip through Kango once more.
Very low on health is Joels, trying to retreat to safety, but back out into a line of sight. Here comes the Bounty Hunter. Hecate slams the bolt home, and that will be enough. 1 minute and 30 left on the clock, and look where the payload is, Nick. It's so close.
128.
The wall.
Big positioning needs to come out from Hecate. There's the seismic crash. Hewlett stunned. Doesn't look like it gets much value. Digidog first to fall. Nocturnes could snowball this and turn this into a 2-0.
Joels tries to go up. Hexafire is ready. Emitter is down. Whirlwind out as well. Here's the combo. The big guns do come out, but who are they going to find? The impact is good for Sadak, who does end up going down to Chronix. And oh my goodness, Joels just about stays alive, but Hecate is here. A double kill so far. Make that a triple, and Nocturnes push it through.
One man undeniably taking control of that round. Hecate with a double kill, finding not just 2. Turns this quickly into 3. And Vox, why not make it 4? Double-double.
Perfect play coming through. Nocturnes in control. This is Kanga's map as well. They do this specifically. They train for these maps that aren't usually picked in rotation, so they can throw their opposition off and come out with drafts which people are not used to. Nocturnes have turned that entirely on their head.
Now that was a big, shiny, flashy first round from Hecate, but this round he'll have to deal with something a little different. The true power, 9-0-4, true power through time and space combination is waiting for Hecate. Should he show his face? He's very good, very patient about being passive, but both Genos and Talus will need line of sight just to know where he's at to line that combo up. It's easy to hit with the caveat of having a line of sight.
Hecate playing this, as he said, very cautiously, may even still be mounted. A couple of initial shots do come through. Big pull, pulls Torvald into a lot of trouble. Hades goes down to start things off. Here's true power through time and space. Does slay Hecate. Chronix didn't go for that kill, but again, it's an even trade so far. This wasn't the opening that Kanga needed.
There it is. Big overdrive as well. Digidog ripping through one frontliner, trying to find his second. He's in the corner here. Reposition with Blitz upper. Nice moves to keep himself safe.
Down goes the mark as well. Maybe increased movement speed from that. We'll have to take a look at that loadout a little later, as Digidog does chew through Sadak as well. And Nocturnes Gaming, despite being forced back, already do have 87% on the objective. They can re-engage. They've got Headhunter ready. They've also got the Dread Serpent as well. It's 81% for Kanga Esports. Nocturnes are looking for a way to make their way in. 97. It is in overtime here. We are being contested, and it's on the objective, the Ancient Rage. goodness.
97%. Kanga Esports coming through. Pule Ule with one. Diggy Dog answers quickly back to another, but he's in a lot of trouble.
Big Hexafire from Joels, cleans up one. Akate sends them packing, and no! Josh Kent comes through. Dread Serpent from Crimson, the 12 streak. Will it be enough? Pule Ule does land the Dredgeangle on the Diggy Dog, but does get shut down by Blitzupper. Kanga Esports are in overtime and do manage to get their capture online. Nocturnes Gaming are on the defense.
Ultimate's available. Comeback Mechanic definitely having a hand in that. Despite the round he had, is in fact the babyface killer Joels that is out in front. Travel Rune going to be used there by young Diggy Dog to get himself out of trouble. And a Blitzupper as well to reposition, but he eats a big shot on his way out.
Diggy Dog has to be very, very careful here. Akate is moving up to the high ground, looking to maybe find damage on the Grover. Good fadeaway as well. Transporter will take him back up into a position where he can maybe look for damage. And the steady aim bonus just keeps on clipping. Headshot 2K. Goodbye, Talus.
Just can't deal with that type of damage. He even had a protection bubble on his head. May have just faded out. Chronix trying to escape, but none will. Kashimar, he is called. It is written in ink permanently for all to see. Headhunter at the ready. Does he need it? Akate with a rare miss. We'll let Grover escape for now.
That just buys a lot of space, a lot of time. 1 minute and 28 seconds left in this clock, and the payload not moving so resoundingly fast for Kanga as it did for Nocturnes Gaming. The ult combo is up again. Akate is held in place through time and space. It hasn't been used though. Diggy Dog still gets the kill, but oh my goodness, makes it out and is caught by Fuzzy Logic.
It was used, but it just missed. That combo not quite pulled off to fruition there by Kanga. They have an opportunity here with Fuzzy Logic put pretty low, but a nice reposition will keep him safe for the time being.
Look at this now. Fuzzy Logic going for the flanky and big seismic crash stuns out Chronix. Well to respond, battled by Kanga Esports, space and time for the time being. Fuzzy Logic looks to engage. To find an angle to Grover here. Needs to get up to the high ground. Josh Kent is low, but no, back up to full health immediately.
That's just not the leap that he wanted. Joel's taking matters into his own hands, trying to get involved on Akate, but he's slamming shots home. His steady aim bonus is leverage. A headshot would have done the kill. But Grover eating the body shot. He's got a big enough, thick enough bark to be able to make it out.
30 seconds remaining.
There's the sneak. Just getting the little sneaky shot there. Around the corner coming through. Big axes go out. Oh, Akate cannot survive. Diggy Dog is able to get the kill. Josh Kent raining down axe from above, so that goes down. Nocturnes Gaming are falling lower and lower. They can't find kills out the Akate here. They need Fuzzy Logic to turn up, but that payload is looking towards conversion. Pule Ule with the Ancient Rage saves some time, buys some space, gets Akate back online. Will it be enough, Nick?
Dredge anchors big, pulls Hades in. He gets his recharge off to try and salvage some of his HP. Diggy Dog finds a frag. Hades will fall over time, starting to expire, but members of Kanga still here to contest. Diggy Dog will refresh it.
Gets pulled in though, gets into a lot of trouble, tries to stay alive and just can't. Josh Kent dives in, picks up a double kill, but it's just the tree, and as much as I love Grover, that isn't enough.
What do you
No,
got?
potential for Hexify here could come through. Joel's retreats around. I think they recognize it's not worth it. Save that in the tank for later. Nocturnes defend, go up 3-1.
Good map for them. Good answer to the 2-0 start from Nocturnes to come out finding their own conversion. That's the combo, that's the dream, but see, they tried it twice, and what they didn't have that they did in that replay was a clear line of sight for the Genos player to be able to line that shot off. Now, it's possible, don't get me wrong, it's just harder. It takes much cleaner communication and a great knowledge of the map for that Genos to be able to follow Talus's path and line up the shot.
And this is partially because as well, as soon as Akate knew that, like, I'm in trouble here, they're trying to engage. Trip out could be coming, it's going to jump off, but yeah, the Master Ridings are coming out across the board from Nocturnes Gaming. What's this doing for them, Nick?
Incredibly long walk back on this map, so they'll increase the mount speed so they can get to the battle a little bit quicker. If they die, they'll return that much quicker. Akate will seize back top damage from Joels as we begin the second round.
Sitting on all 5 ultimates now in this second round. Akate just mounted up, is waiting for the opportunity to try and engage Nocturnes with their Inara, getting a lot of chip capture early. Diggy Dog's in the backline though. Oh, Dread 7 does come through. Will they Rune of Travel? Yes, they will. Diggy Dog gets the safety, and Josh Kent takes out Crimson. Now Sadaki's in a lot of trouble and might need to retreat.
That's huge. Akate, where is he? He needs to be the one to salvage this fight. He's fighting some shots. Hexafire from a distance. Emitter Shield popped. It's just too much HP. Akate, he can't work through it. Grover's been looking at him. True Power's coming out, lined up, but actually knocked away. It doesn't matter. Enough damage for Diggy Dog to claim the life of Akate.
But again, Nocturnes Gaming have got 69% on the objective. Very low on health. Was actually Josh Kent there. Whirlwind used around the corner just to top him back up very quickly. Fuzzy Logic just burned their ultimate as well on Buck.
Comeback mechanic enabled, so 4% protect 70, 74, 78, as opposed to 3% at base. Kanga Esports, that was a clean fight, and they're going to have a great advantage in taking this payload.
Moving down is Sadak. Oh, Mother's Grace saves through the Hyper Beam. Hades gets deleted. Digidog does trade out. Moving in. The damage is here. Headhunter ready. Can't find the slay onto Josh Kent. And that means Grover can still start swinging. Talus is trying to look for the shots. A rare missed one from Akate. Will clean up potentially here. Digidog as well. And oh my goodness, overtime at 99.
He'll line up the next one. Akate needs to get re-involved in this fight. And fast. Crimson actually finds 2 killing blows. Another Ancient Rage. Challenging Makoa is Folly. And it is Nocturnes Gaming with a 2-0 lead over Kanga Esports.
Beautiful impasse there to close it out right at the end. Sadak just making sure that positioning is on point. Nobody can get in as there isn't the verticality to traverse it. Nocturnes played that map beautifully.
They are so practiced at this, Akate. He's got that reputation for his sniper play and being able to play around pressure, and with pressure he gets those small windows and he just pops off. But frankly, that last fight, it wasn't about Akate, it was about that front line. Crimson even picking up 2 frags in that engagement. Pule Ule with a really big Ancient Rage, but you just can't forget about the first round that really set the pace for Nocturnes.
You really can't, and that was pre-Headhunter as well. I think that's really important to talk about. Steady aim was certainly online. The damage 1560 per shot coming through with bonus damage enabled, but when Headhunter does also come up as well, there's so much cleanup potential for Nocturnes here if they can find free shots.
This man rare misses Chronix as he tries to make his escape. Reposition from Akate. He'll find 1 shot. All kinds of good shots hitting from the distance. Headhunters being popped as well. Lining up those headshots, taking out critical supports in the back. Anyone that pops out, anyone that is exposed is in grave danger.
Right, it's anybody that's exposed is taking shots, but in addition to that as well, we can't forget the fact that target prioritization is important here, and Akate was going specifically for supports.
Akate, show him your tattoo. Put the tattoo, there it is, Cauchemar, meaning nightmare in French, and living up to that reputation. Thank you, sir.
Right on call there, Nick. And definitely demonstrating why that reputation is so well-deserved, and this puts Kanga on very much the back foot. 2 games down in the best-of-3 set. Kanga Esports need to pull out a reverse sweep to be able to pull themselves back in, and if their map choices, the wildcard picks, are not going their way, what have they got left in the tank?
That was, I mean, it's a pocket pick in the sense that not a lot of people play it, but Kanga, they are pretty practiced on that, and that's what's kind of scary about the fact that they got taken down there. They had their combination as well. They struggled heavily to deal with the Talus Genos as well, but I don't think teams realize how well Hekate and Nocturnes play with the sniper and around pressure. Hades still smiling. Best-of-5 set. 1 more win stands between Nocturnes and the rest of the bracket. Kanga Esports just holding on.
You know, we've been talking a lot about Hekate from this game as well, but I think one thing that we can't not talk about is the fact that time and time again, Kanga were playing around the objective, leaving Inara to get a lot of free capture very early on. You know, the 2nd and 3rd rounds, even the last closing round to end it all out, it was 60% or so before kills started to go through to Nocturnes, before that through time and space combo ended up killing Akate. And at that point, it was a very easy opportunity for Nocturnes to come back in. If they hadn't made that window, if they were lower on capture initially, Kanga might have been able to overwhelm them on retakes.
Pocket pick map. A little bit of a draft to follow it up, but still not any funny business, as I'm gonna coin that phrase for this tournament. Maybe that's what Kanga have to go to pull out to start the reverse sweep
Triple
dream.
support. Maybe some
whether
grok.
it's triple support, whether it's double support, triple tank, they're gonna need something different, something Nocturnes aren't used to. Stern face. Digidog not smiling at the moment.
No, Kanga know they're looking at elimination here in the next matchup. They've got the map choice. They've got the choice of first pick, first ban. It didn't matter that they took the last counter pick though. Akate still played Canasta into whatever they were going to throw them, and really, they might just want to go for the first pick this time around to choose what their draft wants to be, you know, play their game again and force Nocturnes to draft around their playstyle.
And you know, it's just fun to be able to point out Nocturnes Gaming. They don't have a lot of competition in their region. Kanga, they don't get pushed very hard in theirs. But Nocturnes, they're the underdogs here. Let's be real. They've never made it this far in a tournament, in an international LAN. They've scored not only their first, but their second, and now looking for their third international win. They're sticking to their style. They are playing what they are known for. The Kinessa against all odds, against that Wombo combo that's been giving snipers trouble all tournament. This just goes to show how practiced, how good Akate and Nocturnes are, and they all help him succeed. Without this team around him, Akate would be little.
Next map up then, I'm being told, will be Brightmarsh. So going through to a very different style here. You know, I think this is very important for Kanga to draft away from the kind of sniper-heavy maps. Go away from the Frozen Guard, the Timberwolf, which have been played. Force Nocturnes now to play close quarters where maybe your Bomb King can shine or something similar like that. And Buck has an easier time at closing the gap and getting an ambush going on.
But that's something that Nocturnes can transition flawlessly into. Fuzzy Logic can go to the Bomb King. Akate can flex off the sniper onto Buck.
Too.
Playing up close. They do play a fair amount of Drogos. So does Kanga, though. This is a great map. I think it's an awesome change of pace for Kanga to try and throw Nocturnes off balance, as well as get them away from what has been working. Get Akate, force him to play up close instead of in the safety of a well-protected backline by Pule Ule and Sadak.
And these frontliners for Nocturnes Gaming, I know, we always talk about the fraggers, the superstar players. In day one, it was the Fuzzy Logic show. Now it's been Akate on the snipers as well, but Pule Ule, Sadak, and Crimson's reactive plays as Maldamba have been so fantastic throughout every set they've played. Regardless of win or loss, Nocturnes Gaming are shaping up to be very formidable. But Nick, it's time. Let's head straight on through to our champion draft for map number 3 of Brightmarsh, where Nocturnes Gaming do have the first pick and the first ban.
Chronix straight chilling right now, waiting for his pick. Bomb King gone. Drogos, the primary blaster still in the draft. Makoa gone. Standard bans from what we've been seeing so far in this tournament for this map.
So what's left open right here? Buck, first pick for Nocturnes. Kanga, they're left with Fernando on the table. They're left with Torvald on the table. A lot of close quarters picks, which are very viable here.
Anticipating Torvald, Talus, or Genos Ruckus, and locked
Step into the light.
will be the Genos. Ruckus has been the more popular second pick. It's a good take away from Nocturnes, as well as fitting well into what Kanga
Go
like
ahead.
to and
Keep
have been
talking
doing.
while you
Joel's
can.
likely to play that. Chronix will be on Genos.
And so Nocturnes had the chance to respond. Again, the Fernando is open. Nocturnes, with no hesitation, will lock that in.
stay away from
Getting their close quarters combat augmented so much more. And I love this in the face of Ruckus. Hexafire in a small confined space can be blocked out so well by Immortal. And there's Talus as well, which is proven to be a real up-and-comer, a real bright shine in this tournament.
Great picks from Nocturnes Gaming so far, but you have to note that they are different picks. These are Fernando has not been played, Talus has not been played, Buck not by Hecate
You
yet.
trespass
And if
and are
Fuzzy Logic is
unwanted,
going to be forced onto
stranger.
a blaster like a Drogos is what we'd anticipate if that's the way they go. But with Buck Talus already on the board, it's looking likely that he may just stick to Buck.
Now this is a Kanga favorite. Nara comes through unsurprising for the map of Brightmarsh, but Zin as well. This is something which Josh Ken has
Torvald,
been
yes,
playing a
that's
lot
the pick.
more of. Nocturnes Gaming, I've got to agree with you here, Nick. What's Torvald going to do for their draft in this circumstance?
Going to enable Talus Buck as well as get it away from the Zin. It helps out Josh Ken. It gives him so much room to work with, margin for error, as well as increased damage amplification to stack with Genos.
Maldama to close things out. Unsurprising as Nocturnes were down on their support so far, and Crimson has a formidable reputation on Wakono's chosen so far. Kanga, last pick to follow.
I love it.
The Diggy Dog,
I love it.
Drogo's
Go to what you
out.
know.
Oh yeah.
Go to what you know. Kanga, they don't have a lot of healing. Josh Kent's going to have to look after himself for the most part. Chronix is going to be stretched thin with this healing, as well as the fact that look at Talus and Fernando. I will say it's a lot of anti-heal. Kanga are not going to be relying heavily on sustain with this lineup.
Even so, I would still expect Genos here to be going into a Celestial Touch. You've got the healing throughput for Inara, and I feel like a lot of Kanga's lineup here is
Probably
very...
have to, yeah.
I feel like it's frontline dependent rather than anything else. Your Drogas and your Xin, they're going to be reliable.
Well, they've got 2.5 front lines. They've got their, maybe you could even say 2, because Ruckus, I don't know, he doesn't last quite as long on the front lines these days. But Xin can buy a lot of time between Billow and between the counter, which Josh Kent typically will favor, especially in scenarios like when you've got the Fernando, when you've got the Talus, you've got the Torvald, you've got those high rate of fire champions that are more likely to feed into multiple instances of counter. That might be what we see, but with lack of sustain, Vox Smolder is also a good option for self-sustain.
It really is, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Smolder come out just so Josh Kent can put some pressure onto the backline here. Maybe also survive if Buck starts to chase them down, because that gives you an extra life, and it's very difficult, as we've established, to box out against a bulk up Buck, a recovery Buck early on due to their chip potential. But this is it. Champions of the Realm. Map number 3 between Kanga Esports and Nocturnes, with Kanga facing defeat if they can't pull out a victory.
Fighting for their permanent life.
Guillotine. Changed to retaliation there at the last second.
Yeah, will be Luminary so far from Chronix. Fusillade, aerial assault, retaliation, treacherous ground.
has begun.
I
Kanga
like it.
hanging on, switching gears, close map. Nocturnes, will they be able to adjust?
I love the treacherous ground here. It's going to provide so much shutdown with the cripple towards Nocturnes Gaming. High ground, Diggy Dog takes it. First blood to Akate though on the Talus. Transports out to safety there, stays alive. Double kill, 2 in a row for Akate. It's not looking great for Kanga.
Diggy Dog, bit of a panic thrust there. He doesn't get the distance that he wanted. Fuzzy Logic is hot on his trail. Zen is here though. Josh Kent has to find kills.
But he's not. The retaliation goes up. He's able to heal a little bit thanks to perfect block, but it's not going to do the damage necessary. 54% for Nocturnes. Kanga Esports need to find a way back in.
Climbing. Josh Kent poked pretty low. He's receiving healing, so that means nobody else is. There's not a lot of healing to go around. Kanga have to play this pretty well because they don't have the sustain to hang.
And they're hammering in those Fusillade rockets. The damage is certainly here. Torvald will recharge, get out of danger. Nocturnes Gaming, they bend, not break, and relocate to the peripheral of this map to try and put on increased damage. Direct hits do connect, but Zin's being forced out. Diggy Dog is being forced out. Buck is here to play. Will this be a kill? Down goes Joel's, down goes Diggy Dog. Double kill for Talus. This is looking like the end.
So well, everyone from Nocturnes is playing insane. The front lines are disengaging cleanly, getting their heals, getting back in, as well as the frags are falling for both Fuzzy Logic and Akate. They are amped. You can see it there on his face. Nocturnes can smell victory in the air.
Now True Power is ready as well. If Kanga Esports start to show a little bit of weakness here, Nocturnes Gaming can push very, very far forwards and open up a lot of area for the payload to start moving. Now, Kanga, they've got ultimates of their own to respond. Inara, the only one without so far. Where are they looking to hold on this map? Around the natural cover or a little bit more further forward?
Honestly, almost at any point on the map, especially with Inara. Choke points galore on Bright Mars. We're hearing ultimates crash, but Immortals will live and survive. It doesn't matter, and the through time and space isn't enough to find a kill.
Not onto Fernando. Shield is up. Fernando can re-push through here, but Fuzzy Logic is on cleanup duty. Bible almost collects collateral. Barely escaping was Genos right there. But Akate is chasing players down. Joel's falls to Crimson, and the payload keeps on moving. No, caught from behind. Diggy Dog goes down 7 in a row for this Talus.
We question his ability to switch from the sniper to the flanker, from long range to short range.
Burst to tracking as well. That's a big difference in playstyle.
A lot of things coming out. And that's the name of the game, Nocturnes. Flexibility, preparation, things they didn't have before, they have now.
Oh no, this is a buck wild. The freight train is out of the station, hammering on through as Sadak pulls out a double kill. Fuzzy Logic cleans up. Chronix, that's 1 kill. It's not enough to save, and Nocturnes push it on through for a 2-0.
Akate's out of his seat every time. An objective, a conversion, a defense. He's ready to flip the desk. And Nocturnes lead 2-0. 1 round is all that stands between them and their third international victory.
And look at just the relocation with Blitz up in there as well. The trigger discipline to not fire into the retaliations in. This team is very practiced, and Akate is 8-0 and 8 right now. Sadak 2-0 and 10. Crimson has not been taken down by the flanker Xin at all this game. Nocturnes Gaming are on streaks. They are getting ready for the next round, looking like they are set ablaze.
From what I heard going around at this tournament, other teams talking to us, Nocturnes has been regarded as probably the second worst team at this tournament, just above China Honor, but they are proving far from otherwise here, as they are one of few international teams left looking to make a stand against their international Oceanic brothers.
Oh my goodness as well. Fuzzy Logic just took Digidog out of the air mid-Dragon Punch. Jols finds two in response. Ruckus does dump a Hexafire into their enemy to try and keep things going, but Fuzzy Logic answers back. Down goes Hayes, back to safety is Akate on Talus. Everybody's being forced away. Back to the fight is Josh Kent. Retaliation counter goes up, but their health is so low already and they have to retreat for healing.
He's still got his recovery available. Fuzzy Logic wisely saving it, realizing he had healing incoming from Maldamba. And healing just has been an issue for Kanga. They haven't had much of it. Genos is not a primary healer anymore, especially with the Luminary pickup. Kanga have gone all in on damage and foregone sustain.
True Power does connect. Chronix falls to Hecate. Down, potentially could go Rune of Travel. Oh, Hayes does shut them down there, but Sadak finds Josh Kent. Hyper Beam, will it get the kill? Puleuli sends Hayes straight into the drink, sinking like a stone, and Nocturnes are 1 point away from victory and advancing through into your losers bracket finals.
Momentum. Nocturnes have it, Kanga don't. Are they communicating enough? They already don't talk a lot during these rounds. I'm watching their player cams, not hearing a lot of chatter, seeing a lot of chatter between them, and that is not good. When you're down, you have to communicate. When you're up, you have to communicate. It is key to success.
Now pushing forwards. Look at the shield. Look at the coming out there as well. Protection through saving the life of your Fernando. You've got to be very careful though. Digidog is here to play. Fuzzy Logic's already fallen, and Kanga Esports are starting to fight back. They need to find Puleuli, which they do, but the problem is Nocturnes, they haven't died in so long. Now they can go for a mid-round buy. Now they're able to get their credits spent and online in the way of items, and that will be so critical here, because all of a sudden Cauterize 2 might turn into Cauterize 3. The Wreckers could be coming online, and look at that as well. Instead, we're going for stuff like the Kronos, we're going for stuff like the Nimble as well, and we're starting to see these little augments come through for Nocturnes Gaming, which could give them an edge.
118 on the clock. Nocturnes pushed about halfway. One of the more difficult chokes to break on Bright Mars stands in front of them now, just under this windmill here. An overpass could be cut off by a Narwhal. Hayes will be critical to splitting up this team fight and disrupting the synergy that Nocturnes have built over their long stint as a team together.
And now setting up again. Hexafire is ready for Kanga. Seismic Crash 2, but no. Even Trade comes out to start things off. Fuzzy Logic claims the life of Digidog, and that's a lot of damage away from Nocturnes. Hecate takes out Chronic. No sustain left. Kanga need to be very careful. They can't afford to overextend here. They have nothing to fall back onto, and Sadak knows this, engages with a fireball. Down goes Hayes. Crimson slays Josh Kent. True Power onto Jols as well. Protection, will it be good enough? No! The respawn Chronic slays Hecate, but the payload will still move.
Digidog doesn't make it back to the safety of his team. He is dead. 2 down currently, 1 just coming up for Kanga Esports. Nocturnes Gaming prime for their 3rd international win.
Oh no, here comes Hexafire from the high ground, trying to lock it down. There will be Jols holding the trigger there, moving forwards, trying to take out Puleuli. 8 seconds left on the clock. Sadak is back, but where the rest of Nocturnes? They're far too far away. They can't get back there in time. This one will be defended. Kanga Esports hold on by the skin of their teeth here.
Ultimates available, just a few for Nocturnes, just a few for Kanga Esports. Plenty to give, and they'll need it. This is Kanga's last chance. Nocturnes go on the offensive here. Digidog not finding that Dragon Punch.
That was a big play. That was really important to have Drogos taken out in the air.
It just feels like Diggy's hanging in there, and this is tough, man. There is such little sustain on Kanga's lineup, with Chronix just a singular Genos healing, and he's chosen the damage legendary option on top of the fact that both Fernando and Talus for Nocturnes Gaming have very high base anti-heals built into their loadouts. So what little they have is already being reduced by about 80%.
Look at the credits there on screen right now. Josh Kent very low. Oh my goodness, Seismic Crash from Hayes shut down by Puliuli. One member down. Kanga Esports could be in a lot of trouble. Out comes Buckwild. The heal is good. Damage onto Diggy Dog will not connect. Chronix turns it around, but you've got to be very careful.
Diggy Dog, big in the clutch. Puliuli with 2. Hyper Beam used as well. Nocturnes, map control, 33% on the objective.
Sin was not the answer here for me. Kanga Esports have got to make this flanker pay off big before it is too late. Nocturnes are closing on capture here. The mid-air shots are impressive, but there are no kills achieved. Chronix does slay Fuzzy Logic. Somebody's got to make their way back in, but Inara's low on health here. So dangerous for Kanga Esports to engage. They have to move in. Immortal from Sadak keeps them alive, and oh my goodness, Nocturnes, can they hold on? Dragon Punch doesn't connect. Sadak slays Diggy Dog. Oh my goodness, Nocturnes Gaming, could they do it?
Diggy Dog big in the clutch. Kanga Esports, they have their comeback mechanic. They need to hang on. Joel's up and over, but it's not good enough. Fuzzy Logic, he's dialed in. One shot will take down Chronix. Kanga are hanging on by a thread. It is all over. Nocturnes upsetting Australia.
You can hear the elation in the crowd right now. You can see the elation on these players' faces. They've done what everybody thought was impossible. Where they've been beaten out before, they've come out on top. And not just that, 3-0. 3 straight games. They took Kanga, and they took Kanga's battle exactly where Kanga wanted to play, and they said no.
Disbelief. I think most of Kanga still just staring at their monitors. But handshakes and hugs all around. That scoreboard, it's gonna stick there, Chronix. It's not going anywhere. You've been taken down, defeated by a team a lot of people slept on, and I think it's time that we put those feelings to bed. But I was right. The team in black and orange did win.
Again, I feel like you're a little biased there, Nick. Just slightly on the selection.
I make my own luck, boy.
You make your own rules as well.
Kalshimar, Hecate, and the boys of Nocturnes, congratulations. You are the victors. Hecate, shot calling. Let's take a listen with him leading his squad to victory. Sennheiser, voice of the match there, doing his best to blow out those high-quality microphones. Sennheiser, thank you so much for keeping a lid on Hecate as best as you were able, but I don't know if any technology in the world could put a lid on the excitement, the elation pouring forth from Hecate and his squad.
And so well deserved as well. So many people here rooting for Kanga. You can hear the chants earlier. Aussie, 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 oi,
I'm
oi,
wrong,
oi.
man. I had him winning it all.
I had Kanga taking this 3-0, and
Rest
I
in peace.
could not be happier to be proven wrong. This has been a tournament of maybe some underdogs coming through, maybe some teams on top still reigning supreme, but upsets are always unexpected and always welcome here, demonstrating that international competition has come so far since the beginning of Paladins Esports. That'll wrap things up for myself and Pretty Hair for the time being. Let's head back to Golden Boy and our analysts to see what they thought of that first set of the day.
Oh my goodness, I can't even wrap my head around it. This is crazy. Kanga Esports coming in with a high seed in this competition. They had that bye into the next round. I mean, but it all just came crumbling down to pieces. Nocturnes Gaming 3-0 sweep against the Australians. Latin America stays alive at the Paladins World Championship. Welcome everyone to the Alienware Analyst Desk. Golden Boy with Bitey and Gore, as we're going to break this game down here. And I think the most important thing to start with is the man of the match, Hecate, without a doubt, Gore.
There was a point where me and Bobby, like, we kind of looked up and we were like, oh yeah, we need to make notes. Like, we were just so enveloped in the game and watching him, like, the snipe shots and then being able to kind of flex away from sniping, but he was just phenomenal.
There is this caliber of player, which is extremely rare, where you have this ability to snipe at a legendary status where just you cannot play the same game anymore. It's really hard to reach that status, and Hecate just dominant play. There was this moment where he's Strix. Strix can go invisible. If you go invisible, you can't be targeted by Talisalt. And he managed to take this moment in the split second to stealth up, cancel and deny the Talisalt as it was being casted on him. And it's just so hard to see that coming because even I, as a Strix connoisseur, haven't performed like that ever.
And that's just the different level. Like, that's how you know you've kind of transcended. Like, you're starting to look at the small things, that small timing, and just being able to get it down. And he wasn't able to. I mean, in the second game, you're Knessa, you can't stealth, so that one was a little bit more effective with the Talus, but being able to hit that as often as he was and just kind of keeping himself safe as that Strix really set that up.
If I'm being honest, you know, I've seen a lot of players in my career and across many different games, and I would say the plays that we were seeing from Hecate were like scary plays that we've seen from the likes of Flower or even Taimu, like that, you know, these players who have busted out snipers in the past and have just shredded through, you know, I think that, I'm looking at that and this is like what I'm seeing, but the impact that he had, whether it was on Strix or Knessa, but then you thought, okay, and I even saw people in chat saying like, okay, well, Hecate's like sniper one trick, lol, right? That was just like what people were saying. Then he just busts out the Talus and then just goes for it. And that was, again, like that was more of a coordinated team effort there, but you need that Talus to go in there and shred through the tanks and whatnot. I mean, just amazing.
Game 3, first blood, he picked Genos straight off. Hecate goes in, commits with the Talus, takes out the only healer because it was a solo healer kind of game, and that just sets the pace. And the double, you know, we can talk about Hecate a lot, but his tank, Sadhak, I was very proud of that Fernando. Very bold, big man in charge. And those two working together, they both have high anti-heal abilities with certain cards so that they can completely control the entire pace of the battlefield. Those two working together are just exuding so much influence onto, you can't heal, Talus is good against tanks, and they just shred their whole lineup so they never really have that moment to get in control.
And we were talking during the draft for that third game about the fact that, well, they should have double execute. They should be able to kind of come in and try to keep Nocturnes kind of push back, try to find something, but they just kept staggered. And that was the thing that was really important to me, was they wouldn't find like just one kill. They'd do like one, go to the next, and then at the point where they got it, Kanga was just kind of running in as 1 by 1 or 2 by 2, and they never were able to really fully regroup. And even at the beginning of every round, it was just a repeat.
Just wow. Nocturnes Gaming, you know, sending home Kanga, a favorite, a crowd favorite, a favorite in this competition. But now their journey here ends. Kanga back to the drawing board as they have to go back down under without the championship, without hoisting that trophy over their heads. And Vidi, you were going to rock the headband. You were going to rock the Australian flag headband, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out. You know, we're just gonna have to get you know, I don't know all the countries where, you know, Nocturnes are from. We're just gonna have to get all their flags.
I've told them all that I will be happy to represent any region's flag, anybody's flag, as long as it's provable, you know.
As long as the games are good, baby. That's what it's all about. But that being said, Nocturnes does have a difficult road ahead of them as they're going to have to face off against Virtus Pro coming up next. Let's go ahead and take a look at that schedule here, get you guys up to speed. Kanga will go home. Nocturnes move on. They're going to have to sit their pretty behinds on that stage and stay there and get ready for a war, because Virtus Pro, they dominated Nocturnes last time they met 3-0. They could not figure out that triple support composition that VP was throwing at them, but we're going to talk about that and so much more on the other side. For now, we have Shift over at the stage with the man himself, Hecate.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. I said it yesterday on Cast, say it again today. Hecate, best sniper world. On stage with me, the elation, of course, but just run me through, try to find the words to express the emotions you're feeling right now.
There are so much feelings right now. Like, I cannot even express. I'm nervous, I'm happy, I cannot believe what just happened. Like, it's not just me, the entire team, you know, it's amazing, you know, coming here as an underdog. All the people thinking that we were the worst team here. Now proving that we can stand against the big ones, you know, playing against Kanga again, that, you know, it's amazing, it's amazing.
And of course now with moving into the semifinals, that establishes you guys as a top 16, but you had mentioned it, your teammates are getting better and better and better. And it's funny because if anyone's had a chance to talk to Hecate, he'll come into stream and say, hey, Shift, did you know about this thing that happens? You know, finding these little reload mechanics and all that stuff. Tell me more about the work ethic that you guys put in day after day when it comes to Paladins.
It's just, you know, we practice a lot. we practice in our region, we practice with Brazil. Like, there's so many good teams right there that we can practice, and our region is so good right now. They are increasing every single day, you know, they are getting ahead with the NA and European teams. And just playing the game a lot and having knowledge about everything from other games, you just know what is better, what is your playstyle even better. For example, my Strix doesn't reload as a Marlian because I found that for my playstyle that I want to punish all the time, you know, I have my special loader for that. That is different from other people, you know. But I think it's all about experience and practice.
Indeed, and of course, just last thoughts. Obviously, moving forward, Virtus Pro, they got the better of you one time before. Feeling confident against them possibly next?
Yeah, at the first time that we faced Virtus Pro here, we didn't know about this new meta, about 3 supports. We were used to our draft. Like, okay, they left this open, we need to pick it because it's what we trained 3 months ago before coming here. So if we change everything at the LAN, it's like, it doesn't make sense. But right now, we see what we were doing. We just see our mistakes, and now we feel more confident to face Virtus Pro again.
And lastly, final words for all of your fans out there, possibly?
Yeah, I can speak in Spanish.
Of course.
Thank you very much. Primero que nada, quiero dejar en claro para toda Latinoamérica, que espero que nos estén mirando. Somos la prueba viva de que llegamos acá a la HRX, nos enfrentamos contra muy buenos teams. Hoy, en este momento, lo que vamos a ganar a Kanga. Se puede, es consistencia, no hay secreto. Estuvimos unidos hace ya un tiempo. Yo creo que no solamente nosotros, cualquier otro team lo puede hacer. Y también quiero mencionar que a la región de Brasil, que es muy fuerte, que es con el equipo que jugamos, yo creo que también se merecen de su apoyo y que reconozcan el trabajo duro que están haciendo. Y me gustaría mandar saludos a todos mis teammates, que si no fuera por ellos, no podría estar haciendo nada, no podría estar jugando tan bien. A mi novia, a mi familia, a mis amigos, a todos los que me hablan y me tiran para arriba, muchísimas gracias a todos.
So much elation, emotion coming out. Qué rico para Nocturnes. We're going to have more, though. Someone else is going to have to go home. A couple more, actually. So stay tuned to find out who it might just be at the end. We'll catch you in just a bit.
Loud noise! They bring war to my doorstep. I bring destruction to yours.